Welcome to Own It, the podcast where we talk to real estate thought leaders about embracing your strengths, taking your career to new heights, and owning your future. I'm Hillary Saunders, Chief Broker Officer and co-founder at Side, along with my highly caffeinated, sleep-deprived co-host, Spencer Kroll.
Thank you, Hillary. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Joined today by our newest insider, Katie Kossev, who I cannot wait to dive into your entire story because you're just so magnetic and amazing. Not just the MC extraordinaire at Inman and CAR, but you have an illustrious real estate career, and now you've decided to join the likes of us. Mm-hmm. First off, why?
Yeah, right. There's your first mistake. Yeah.
Is that a real question? Because I can answer.
Yeah.
Yes. You want me to dive into it?
Do it.
Okay. So I had no intention. I was happy as I could be. I had been working just for myself for 2 years after, 18, 20 years of, working for others or, as a state broker or managing broker or coach or whatever the case may be. And I was good. I was fine. Then Guy called me one day and my phone just, I guess, knew who he was because his number was not saved in my phone. So I answered because I knew his name and it was him. And he actually texted me first and asked if he could call me. And we chatted a bit and he was just the greatest, like his vibe and his energy. And I didn't know what I didn't know. And I asked all the questions and the man stayed on the phone with me for 45 minutes because it was kind of out of the blue. I wasn't expecting. So I asked him all the questions after he had told me why he was calling me that made me say I was never going to work at a place other than my own self ever again. And for every question, he had a very transparent and honest answer. And that made me very happy because I have not seen that in leadership, but, in other places. So then 2 months later, here I am. And the thing was when I hung up with him, my husband and I went to a movie and I was like, what am I feeling right now? And I was feeling excited. And I hadn't felt that kind of excitement in a very long time. And it was at that moment that I said, I have to read energies and listen to my heart. And I said, these are good people. And then I talked to you and I loved that you were interviewing me, but you were like, you're a mom and you were running around and you had things to do and you had your camera off and you're like, I'm going to the airport. I don't even have enough brain. I would have been like, I'm sorry, I can't take, if I were you, how did you take an interview with me while you're trying to get to the airport? So the fact that you are a mom and you're juggling life and your wife and you're just this, an icon in the industry. And everyone else was so great. Anyway, long story short, the energy and everyone's working towards one thing. And above all else, now that I'm here, the fact that we celebrate the partner's success and it's truly the number one most important thing, that doesn't happen everywhere else. And it's just it's lovely to be a part of a team who is looking, to be a successful organization, but also they want people to be their best. And that's why I'm happy to be here.
So I've got two questions. I have one question and then a follow-up question, right? Which I know, but I promise you.
I've outlawed this, but yes.
All right, so I'm not allowed to have compound questions. The first question is, I notice that you didn't speak to me. Now, knowing
it wasn't about you at all.
Knowing me now that we've known each other for a couple of days, do you think you would have taken the job had you spoken with me? But all seriousness, what were you doing before? You said that you were working for yourself. Were you working as a broker, or were you doing consulting, or was it a combination of things?
I think once you're a broker, you're kind of always a broker. But do you want me to give you the whole rundown so everyone's like, who is she? Or
yeah. Because you.
Well, I'm sorry, but who doesn't know Katie? First of all, but yes, for the four people in real estate who don't know of her, yes.
I won't go too far back to the day I was born or anything, but I became licensed in 2000. And I was at a smaller boutique brokerage in Texas. And then let's see, what was next? I got my broker's license in 2006. My best friend and I had been real estate partners that entire time. So it was she and I worked together every day, and it was just the greatest experience. And, I was a baby, 20, I feel like, I didn't know what I didn't know, but what a fun way to get to know life in general and human beings in this industry.
Yeah.
I feel bad for people who are in other industries who never, they come out of college and they go into whatever, because they've never gotten to see the emotion of human beings when they go through the cycle of purchasing a house. Because someone may seem like, wow, they've got their stuff together, and then they buy a house.
Oh.
And it's a whole nother ball game. And the fact that you handle people with loving care, it's just a great industry. Anyway, so then had my own brokerage. Then I'm also very honest, transparent, so get ready for that. I got a divorce during this period of time.
Well, we have those too. So
Yeah.
you're in the right club.
So only one, or just curious?
Just one.
All right, okay.
Just one.
Yeah.
So I got the divorce. At that point, I knew I was living in the suburbs of Houston, and I wanted to get into the city with my daughter. It was very important for us to be there. The opportunity came to me to open an Intero franchise, which is California-based in Texas. That's what I did that was now 2010. So 2010, moved to the city with my daughter, spent the next 10 years, solid years, growing that company. And it was the greatest experience. We got up to 200 agents. I was managing, I was doing everything, like a lot of our partners. And that's why it's so nice to see that. And all of the things that, I know this is not a side commercial by any means, but I'm still in the very new stages of being very excited.
Yeah, it wears off.
And all of the tools that like we offer, if I had been given those as I know. It would have changed my life and my ability to be a friend and a mother and everything else, because I had so much on my plate, like doing that. Even as a franchise, like it would have been pretty honestly life-changing, which sounds really goofy, but it would have been. But I loved it. And those people became my family. And my daughter looked at them as family. My daughter would come after school. She'd be sleeping under my desk. That sounds awful. But like most real estate moms,
sure.
that was it. She watched me grow that office, and we'd know everybody there. But I also knew professionally, during this time, I met my husband, like my unicorn husband. He had a brokerage too. It was accidental. He does not like managing people. People are he's a smart man. So he came over to join our office with his team of 20. He was like, thank you. It's been lovely. Like, can you please keep all of them? I'm going to be independent again. Sure. Goodbye. I'm going to go do other things. We fell in love during the process. Not really professional. No one really knew. And then we're surprised we're getting married. So
you and I are like some star-crossed soulmates.
Is this what happened?
Oh yeah, we'll talk
look at
about that one.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to hear about my real estate agent relationship.
Is yours as romantic as mine?
No.
Anyway, so I met Vessel. We got married. He's glorious, great. So during that 10-year span, that all happened. I looked at my life and I said, I need to feel that excitement again, right? I love my Intero family, but I needed something else. But I did not have the not the confidence. I felt awful. I felt awful leaving them because they become so close to you. So when I decided to leave Intero, I went to another big box brokerage that was launching in Houston that I thought would be a really, really good fit. And the people were amazing. I made some amazing relationships. But after being at a place that I had grown myself, maybe I'm a little bit of a control freak, but it just wasn't a great fit for me because I wanted to have a little bit more say in how things were working. And honestly, I was about to turn 40 and I was ready to dive off and do something else that excited me. And I stayed there for a year, made some amazing friendships that I continue to this day. And then I went off on my own and opened my consultancy, and it was fantastic. And I got to work with like some of the best people, and I got to nurture them.
So what was your consultancy? What were you consulting on?
Basically, well, first of all, like other people's success is mine, always. It always has been that way. So agents will come to me, and if they're wanting to go independent, number one, which I thought like, what a fantastic fit with side as well. It's the other thing, because it's very confusing. It's a very, very hard thing to like leave your brokerage if you have a team and then open up your own place, right? Like, what do you do?
There is no handbook. Like
no.
when I did it, I did the same thing as you. It was like, oh my gosh, I did all the things. And I realized real quickly what I wasn't good at and what I didn't like to do.
Yeah.
And nobody was there to say, here's a playbook. You do it.
Right.
I need help.
Yeah, no, that's the toughest part, and it's really easy to fail because, as you said, you didn't know what you didn't know, and there's so many things like, I never thought about, my
from a market and like the legal perspective, because typically their brokers like keep them in line, but if they're ready to like go out on their own, they don't know like how to do that. And it's a little scary. So I would do that, but also I love like coaching. I love business coaching in general. I love helping people with work-life balance, which is funny because I have to work on it myself constantly. Yeah. I just love people. I love that very, very much. So that's what I did. I work with people on their marketing, on growing their business, on recruiting and retention, and all the things that I learned from my career in real estate. And that's what I was doing, and I was loving it, and all was well. But my daughter graduates in 2 years. And I have a feeling, because I only have one. That was probably the mistake. I should have had several. So I'm not as attached to the one. I don't know if that's what happens. I don't know if you start carrying less once you have more. Probably not. But
I am
was
so
like,
not answering that question.
yeah, I said everybody
so
else.
not answering.
So I thought, and then guy called me and it all kind of like came together. I was like, in 2 years she leaves. The one thing I missed working on my own was community of people working together to like do something great.
If she goes to college, you're going to follow her.
Oh God.
You're going to be the mom that gets the condo like down the road.
I'm a psychopath. The poor thing. But the funny thing is she's turning into the exact woman that I have raised her to be. Whoops. Like her, since she was little, it's like, you're going to fly and like, you're going to go and do amazing things. Like when you are 18 and you graduate, like, where do you want to go? Like, I will make it happen. Like, you're not staying here. And now, and so I'm like crying inside, but also so excited for her future. Like, so excited. So she's going to leave. I'm going to be like totally in the side universe and in my own life and like all is well. And I'm happy and like helping people grow here. And I just couldn't be more excited that the universe worked for me in this situation.
Well, I think you throw it out there in your different, phases, seasons of life. You throw it out there in the universe, what you need and what you want, and subconscious. Does this not work for you? Because it works for me.
No, it's not that. It works for me. But finish what you're saying, and then I'm going to...
We're going to gang up on you.
Great.
No, we're not ganging up. No, I'm with you. Go ahead, and I'll tell you what I'm saying.
I'm going to be very interested to see how this shakes out.
Yeah.
My point is this, is that you need to manifest what you want to have happen,
100%.
And then it comes back to you. It might not come back to you in the way that you expect it to, but be open to how it comes back to you.
Yeah. No, I'm agreeing with you there. What's very funny is people will pick up from you what they need. Also, that was what I was going to say. So that one time I remember I was sitting at a restaurant. I was having a cup of coffee there, and a guy comes up to me, and he said, excuse me, but you look like someone who kind of has figured it out. And I'm lost in life. And I'm thinking, I'm so not the right person. And he said, you're dressed nicely and you have a really nice watch. And like, for whatever reason, I'm thinking this is some scam. But like he just said, I just graduated college and I don't know what to do. And and you just kind of look like somebody who feels very comfortable. This is the only person I think that ever feels that way about me, right? So, but I'm just saying, but people come to you, like if you're consulting and you're doing this stuff and you've done it and you have a perspective and you put it out there, people will also find that. I know that
I've made a mark on people's lives by helping them believe in themselves. And that is nothing brings me more joy. Like if I died tomorrow, knock on wood, let's hope I don't, I would be very, very happy with the life I've led and who I've helped. And that just makes me really happy. And I also, that will happen to you.
Yeah.
I'm starting to come into like this universe of like knowing those types of situations have happened to me a handful of times in my life. I bet they have to you too, like a real weird experience where some random person comes up to you. When I was younger, I would be like, what a weirdo. Now I'm like, oh, that happened for a reason.
Yeah, well, I feel it happened. The reason was he had really bad judgment. But and I love how amazed you are that someone would come up to me and think I have it together.
You have a good energy, Spencer.
Well, I think that's what it was. 'Cause I was talking to a bunch of people there, and he's like, I'm trying to figure it out. And I actually told him to go into real estate, and we've been in touch a couple times. No, because he likes people and didn't really know what to do, and he didn't know how to put a people skill out there. He was an English major.
But going back to real estate. And coaching, and you've been in all different facets of real estate. What are some things that you can tell to anyone who's considering going on their own, leaving their brokerage or starting one from scratch, besides have faith in yourself? Run, don't walk for the exit, or what?
Don't do it. That's crazy. I have told a lot of people, something I've also learned in different chapters of my life is what is important to me in life, and juggling time and balance and is not what's important to some other people, specifically women. We all have our different wants and needs when it comes to time. And I have mistakenly talked to some women and been like, are you sure this is for you? Your time is going to be very tight. And they're like, yeah, absolutely. And now looking at those women, they have found great success. Maybe it's juggled in different ways, like with work-life balance. I digress. Anyway, I feel like, and again, I go back to side, but when somebody wants to leave their brokerage, if we want to talk about money, and I don't think it's ever about money, it's about so many other things, but also money's money. Money is money. More money is better if you're a good person because you can do better things with it. It's just the point blank. And sometimes people or agents are paying. It's a new universe. There's a lot of people paying a lot of money to their broker, and what kind of support are they getting? And if they can go off on their own and have a suite of tools and can I look directly into the camera? I have not, well, I mean, I work for Side now, but this is not a paid advertisement for Side.
Yeah.
I have been with Side for 3 weeks, so I am very pumped. But what I know now that I'm here, it's kind of bonkers to me on how it works and the tools and the suite of services that are offered and how smooth it makes it for someone who wants to leave and come over and have ownership. Because it is important. We're a prideful industry. We're prideful people. Like I don't know what it is about us, but we want to be like, look what we did. Like, look what we made, look what we created. And that's really hard to do without people backing you.
Yeah, but I would say like 90% of the, traditional agents, they quote unquote don't retire, they die. They don't really have something to just hang their hat on. That is, I built this from the ground up. It's something that I can sell or hand down to my kids.
Sure.
Like it's almost like a misconception that they have it, because in reality they don't.
Well, I think there are two things from it too. If you're selling real estate and all you're doing is selling real estate, you're doing it wrong, right? I mean, because you're supposed to, you can do so many things with it. You can invest in properties, you can have ancillary businesses and stuff like that.
That's something I would talk to my clients too, like diversifying your license. Like there's so many different things that you can do with it. Like not having your real estate, I feel like it should just be like mandatory for a lot of people. Like you can do so much.
So yeah, listen, I hope my son is listening to that. I keep telling him, he's like, I don't want to be like you. He's like, all right, anyway. But which is understandable. But a question for you though: what are misconceptions people had when they were making this pivot? You're consulting with them. What are some of the misconceptions they had? And did you meet any people where it's like, no, being on your own is not for you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think I kind of honed that conversation in like, what is the most important thing to you? Why do you want to do it? If it's purely based off, I want to make more, like you're not going to. Like it just like at first, like with your structure you have right now and the agents that are on your team, like you're not going to just like, believe me, like let's look at the numbers here. And I don't think it is for everyone. I think some people want it for the wrong reason. They want ownership for the wrong reason. I think that we live in a time where everybody likes to be famous. Like it's a thing, right? Or they want a TV show. And you don't have to be an owner of your own company to like get that, right? There's a lot of people that are amazing and magnetic and wonderful who are on real estate reality. Doesn't mean that they need to be an owner of anything, right?
Sure.
Like, but they're fun. It's fun to watch, and like it's engaging. But if that's the reason you're wanting to say this is my label and my name, it's probably not for the right reason. If you're wanting to own it, if you're wanting to grow something for you and your family, then absolutely.
There are people also that because I used to do a bit of coaching. And there were some people that just I was not right for.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I think that's really important too. Is that the way that you want to do brokerage? Like you might not be the right person to coach them through that.
Oh, for sure. Like I'm really big on accountability. Like there's no point. I will not. When I was consulting, I had a very hard time. I'm not good with the business aspect of which was always everyone has their own journey and their businesses they have, but having people pay me, I didn't really like it. I hated that I had to send invoices out. Like that's not my favorite thing. I am a very empathetic person, and if someone's not doing what I'm telling them to do, I would be the first to say, you're not doing it. I don't want to take your money because you're not doing what I've asked you to do to grow your business. So here we are 3 months in, and there has been no level up because you haven't followed through with what I've asked you to do.
Sure.
So we don't need to be working together anymore, but let's stay friends. So that was kind of, it is what it is in this industry. It's hard to, just like working out or anything else. It sounds great, but follow through.
Spencer doesn't work out. He doesn't know anything about that.
I think I do work out.
He made sure to eat protein yesterday.
Yeah, and I have a rowing machine. Did you know I have a rowing machine?
I did. I'm just kidding.
Oh.
No. I don't really
So
work out.
how did you pivot and build your relationship with Inman and get to the MC? Because clearly you're not bubbly at all.
Right.
And you don't command a stage well. So how did you do that?
I think that it sounds so corny. Like I don't know you two well enough yet for me in my head to be like, I know what this person was like born to do. Because we're all doing, like we're in the real estate industry, right? But everybody was born to do something, and you're not happy until you like find whatever that passion is, whatever that universe given strength is, and then you like act on it. I could tell. Yesterday I actually said, we went to breakfast yesterday. I was like, what's your passion? I can tell you're like into the arts. Like you love to be the center of attention, as do I. It's who we are as like human beings. I don't like it to be like, hey, look at me. I think that I can see people and I want to tell them how great they are. That's it. And if you are on a stage, you get to do that more. So kind of like I just naturally got magnetized to like getting to a place where I could tell a bunch of people at one time, like, you're really great, like, believe in yourself and like do good things. And I did that in a managing broker role. And then I met somebody who knew somebody, and they said, can you come speak at one of our stages? Because honestly, if you're listening to this podcast right now and you want to get on a stage, you need to stop waiting for someone to ask you. You need to reach out to them, because the people organizing these, real estate and otherwise, they do not have time to find you. They need you. If you just put a little bit of effort into it, no one's going to say, you're an idiot. Why did you call me? Like, they're going to be like, thank God. Are you normal? Can you speak? Do you have something to say? Yes, please come to us. So get past your fears and do it. And that's kind of what I did. And I started, I think was it NAR, and they had like a traveling road show like years and years ago.
Yeah.
And I was really big on creating culture at that time, because I was building up the Intero office. I was pretty good at recruiting and retention. And so I started speaking on that, and it kind of just rolled from there. Turns out I'm really good at interviewing people and like getting people to chat with me. And so I can, even someone's really nervous, I love that, to get them to be not nervous and make them look good. And it rolled on from there. And you know what? Above all else, I'm dependable. That's probably it. And
you show up on time,
you show up on time, and you like help get things together. I was like, I should have been like a wedding planner. It's one of those women who yells around and yells at everyone.
You speak too. You speak at conferences and Women Up. And
it's
I love
fantastic.
it. It's so much fun. Well, I think that's part of it, is you find your niche that you're super passionate about, and you can talk about it all day long, upside down, in the shower.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm so embarrassed. I spoke at CAR, I don't know, it's like 6 years ago, and
They didn't invite you back.
he would say, well, we'll call you, thank you. And
You just have to push yourself.
How did you figure out in your coaching piece of your life, how did you figure out how to steer someone to where you could see their talents if they didn't see them themselves?
It was just kind of a process of a lot of personality tests, honestly, and a lot of conversations. Because some people they're like, no, I want to do this. I'm like, do you even like doing that? No, like someone told me I was good at that. I was like, but do you like it? Like, life is way too short to be doing something you don't like. I mean, I've had clients where I'm like, do you even like real estate? Like, did you come to me purely because you need to be more successful and make more money? Like, yeah, I need to make, well, you hate it. Like, you're never going to, I can tell. Like, you're so uncomfortable prospecting and like doing those things. Like, why? Let's help you like find another path that's better for you, and like figure out how you can retain some of your past clients and like turn that business over into, future money through referrals. And I just like guiding people and making sure that they're, on the right track.
That's a huge point, I think, because so many people get their real estate license because they either see it on TV or they think it's one way or the other. It's a horribly time-consuming business, and it's draining. But for a certain select people, it's super rewarding and we love it. But if you do have your license and it's not for you, refer it out, make some money.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just hand it off.
Yeah.
Be the person to pass that relationship to the next person.
And just like the injustice and like working with a client who you like should not be working with. It's like, across the country, like, give me a break. What are you doing?
Do people ever call you and they say, oh, I'm so sorry to bother you, and they ask you a real estate question?
Yes.
Yeah, I get that. Like, what do you
it's
think
not
I
a
do?
bother. I love it.
I love talking about this stuff. I never understand
Like the
someone you're
legal
saying.
questions too.
Yeah.
I'd
like,
rather
no,
you
please.
ask than you go do something
Well,
and then you know what happens
later.
then.
Yeah, my saying is I'd rather have the question than the subpoena, right? You
Right.
know, but I always love it. If you are passionate about it, and people are going to be drawn to you for doing it. Like when people see, like, wow, we talk about why people go into real estate, and sometimes there are like three main reasons. One of them is because they had a terrible experience, but they realize I can do it better, right? They had a great experience and they realize I want to be like that person. The third one is they watch TV and say, oh, it doesn't look that hard, I can do that, right? So, but the ones that are drawn to you, the ones that want to work with you because of your personality, do you ever coach people to be more excited about real estate? I do ever say, like, here's how you show how to do it. So, what do you tell people?
There's so many different facets of what we do, whether it's through marketing or maybe they're like really into charitable events or a certain charity. I feel like the number one easiest way to spark someone's excitement for this industry again is to figure out a charity that they love, that they are like really involved in, and figure out how you can pair with them and then contribute back to them. It makes people excited again. Like, I'm doing this for a reason. I'm helping like this subset of people or things. So definitely like charity related, I think is great. Getting out in the community, remembering that when you're marketing yourself, it can be like 20% real estate and like 80% just your life. People want to work with somebody that they can relate to.
Sure.
And like giving someone permission, because sometimes you just need permission. It's a very lonely business. If you're working by yourself and you're not part of a team, like, no, you should share those things that you're going through. Like, people will really relate to you, and that gets people excited. Just figuring out like what people love. Oh, you love cooking? great. I'm like, let's do a mixer. I mean, it's
Right.
a tiny little silly things, but you need to have that spark because it can get boring. Like you can go through like
and people can tell. I mean, they know when you're authentic about it.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
There's only so many new builds that you can sell before you're bored.
Yeah, it's a thing.
But also giving back, in a way, affording or teaching people about home ownership, especially in areas who they think that they cannot afford it, or they don't know the programs that are out there, or the price points are, they think too high and they just aren't educated. I think that's a huge point that a lot of people just don't know. That brings so much joy.
The first time buyer, it's like my love. When I was younger and selling, like working with people and like helping them get into a house when they otherwise thought that they couldn't.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like the best feeling. I mean, I know it's nice to sell multi-million-dollar houses, and those clients are often much easier sometimes, but like first-time buyers are just, they're my favorite.
Because you're really teaching them something, and if you know what you're doing,
right,
and
you're playing counselor because it is super stressful, and it's almost always all their life savings, maybe borrowed from somebody else, and it's literally the moment when you're most likely house rich and money poor. House poor.
Money.
House poor. I think it's house poor.
Yeah, but I think that is the most touching for me, anyways.
I agree. Yeah. That's really nice. I feel like and just knowing some of those affordable like housing programs, and it's really nice. And a lot of people don't want to dive into it because it probably doesn't sound like really glamorous, like you're on a reality show.
No, it's not.
But God, it's so nice though,
No, I actually used to turn my nose up at that because I used to worked in Beverly Hills for a long time, and then meeting people that really needed help, that actually was really much more rewarding.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
Well, Katie, what are your dreams, not just for your daughter, your family, property investment? What are you guys going to do? Live in an RV, travel around the country?
It's funny because when I started this process with Side, again, I wasn't looking. So I haven't had a resume in, I don't remember, like for a very long time. So when you all called me and then like the process continued, I did not realize that at some point internally, Side had like gone to my LinkedIn, which I don't keep up with very well, and like hit like the download his resume button or whatever. So I did not know that happened. So as I started like interviewing and speaking to everyone, it's like, what's going on? Because I had changed my about me on my LinkedIn with my experience to be my experience, but it's very human.
Yeah.
It's very like, this is me, this is what I do, so I can help you. Also, I love travel. We're getting an Airstream. My daughter's graduating. We're going to take off. Even Elizabeth was like, so on your resume, I see that you're leaving in an Airstream soon. I was like, no, let me explain. I am not the weird woman who puts anything about an Airstream on her resume. I did not know that. So let me bring it back in. Dream-wise, it is to be location independent. It is to leave my daughter a lovely portfolio of real estate. We have been very fortunate to be able, God, if everyone,
bit of advice right now,
that's listening right now can just, interest rates are frightening. Like I know that, but if you really want to build a generational wealth for your family, there is no better way to do it than real estate, hands down. I'm not just saying that. It doesn't need to be in the state you live in. I know California is very expensive. Texas is almost becoming unaffordable if you're an investor. The Midwest is magnificent. Yeah. There are places, and if you can figure out, and there's beautiful loan programs to do it, if you can figure out a way to do it and manage it well, and then have that for your family, like what a better feeling. So literally my goals and dreams and aspirations right now are to help people figure out a way to do that through like my husband. That's what he centers on. We just love teaching people to do that and to build that for my child and just to make a mark and help people be happy. My dream is to just be happy and like, have positive energy. I'm just so happy to be an insider and happy to be here with good people.
Thank you, Katie, for being such an amazing guest, and your energy is through the roof. And we will see everyone at our next Own It podcast. As always, you can always email us at ownit@side.com. Thank you.